Okay, problem number two that I came across. There was lots of standing around with the players during pre-game. Um, Now, a lot of it was, coaches trying to organise things. We've got team managers, we've got an operations manager that sets up fields and things like that. But I saw a lot of coaches sort of running around, maybe not running around, even just talking to other people rather than paying attention to the kids. In this age group, we've got five coaches. So we need to make better use of those coaches. And there's a few things one thing that popped into my head that I saw, firstly, the general warm-up was really good. The general warm up had everybody, all the kids involved, all the kids engaged, and they were blowing and sweating. At the end of that warm up, I think it was Wayman that did it. But then they moved into a couple of other things. Now, what we had was two coaches with tackle pads. Okay, excuse the drawings. We had two coaches with tackle pads, and we had basically 14 or 12 kids and another 12 kids just running at the coach and hitting the bag, running at the coach, hitting the bag, and then going round to the back of the line. Okay? So that kid hits the bag. Great hit, takes the hit. Coach Wayman or coach, I can't remember if it was Mauro, I can't remember who the other coach was. And then the kids walk around the back and stand at the back and start talking to their friends. And then several minutes later, they get another opportunity to do it. It's not dynamic enough. Okay, they're basically hitting a bag, running away, and then standing around and talking to their friends. They're not focused, they're not concentrating, they're bullshitting with their mates, and it's just not dynamic. It's not a useful, not a productive use of time. So what we can do is, this isn't a bad drill, I have no problem with this particular drill, but we can make it a lot more dynamic. Firstly, I would suggest we either get two kids that are maybe not playing that day, that are injured, so maybe not that, but getting one of the under 16s or under 19s players to hold the pad. Then you've got, all of a sudden, you've got a coach supervising the two drills, making sure that these kids at the back are not bullshitting and talking and not concentrating. So you've got a coach there that's now supervising a couple of kids, a couple of older kids or just volunteers. There's plenty of people hanging around, but this weekend there was hundreds of people there. There's nothing wrong with having another player standing there or another coach. Something that I could have done quite easily. So I think that is one thing that we could improve. Having one coach, instead of two coaches taking hits and not supervising what's happening, we have one coach supervising the whole thing and two volunteers here to take those hits if that's the drill that you want to do. Okay, that's one thing. To make this more dynamic, we can do a few things. There's some drills that we do where it can be in a very short space. You've got coach with a ball. You've got maybe, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4 players and maybe 2 defenders. We want contact with the ball, goes to ground. Second man comes over and cleans out. Third man stabilizes the ruck. Fourth man picks up the ball and goes again, for example. That's one very, very simple drill, and it puts it in a much more realistic situation. If you would like these two players to have pads because it's younger kids, blah blah blah, that's absolutely okay. But at least with this, you've got defenders advancing, it looks a bit more realistic. You've got player 1 going to contact and presenting the ball correctly. Again, we don't want these two guys to be coaches if possible. Let's have it as players. Okay? Presenting the ball. Second player cleans the ruck. Third player stabilizes the ruck. Fourth player comes in as a scrum half and picks. You can have a fifth player and picks and passes and simply just finishes it off. Doesn't have to be over exertive, but at least it's dynamic. With one coach supervising, okay, you could have 2 of these drills going on at the same time. You've got 2 defenders, 5 attackers, that's 7 players. You've got another box of 7 players doing this, and then you can have another 7 players waiting, and they set up, they go in next. You're getting everybody involved, okay, you're getting the entire squad involved very quickly. So you've got 7 guys participating in one drill, 7 guys waiting that are going to be involved within 30 seconds. Same thing here. So again, you've got 4 sets of players. In the case of the under-14s team, I think there's about 22 or 24 players. That works out about right, doesn't it? You've got 7 players on this little grid. It's a small 5x5 grid. You've got 7 players here, another one right here. All these guys are rotating every 30 seconds. So you don't need to do that drill for more than like 4 minutes. So if you can do that for 4 minutes, these guys are all going to get contact several times in a very short period of time. They're warm, they've gotten contact, and the coaches are supervising it. And there's just 2 coaches. Bearing in mind, that under-14s group, I believe, has got 5 coaches. So while they're doing this, you've got another 2 coaches setting up the next drill. Maybe planning the game plan, selecting the side, whatever it is that you want to do, but you've got the coaches to do it, and it's a more dynamic workout. So they're getting their exercise, they're getting their warm-up, they're getting their contact, they're not daydreaming because they don't have time, and you've still got other coaches available to set up the next thing that you're doing, whether it's a continuation of the warm-up or preparing the selection of the team, whatever it might be. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense.